We moved a few months ago, and one thing I didn't notice until it was already December, and therefore Christmas season, was our hearth. It's just too thick. If you have these little standard stocking clips, like we happen to, they do not fit. There was no way to hang our stockings, and this was a major problem. So I decided to fix it.
Okay, editing room note already. I mentioned we just moved. I lost all my things. No, don't feel bad. I misplaced all my things in my junk piles after moving. I thought that this microphone on my camera would be good enough, and it's not really. So, I don't know why you're watching this. Basically, if you need to do what I do, look at the thumbnail, take a board, make it the right shape, take some threaded inserts, put it into your hearth, insert those threaded inserts, put holes in your board, slot the board there, bolt it in place. There you go. It's a clamp. It holds your hanger clips in place for your stockings. Great. Good solution. Yeah, I guess you're going to watch the video. Why? Well, at least it sets the low effort tone for the channel, meaning I can make more stuff without feeling bad. Oh, look. It's a cat. Meow. Okay. Well, should I get back to actually editing this pile of garbage? Yes? Oh, okay. I guess so. Now I can't reach the button to turn it off.
First thing I did was look and see if I could just get thicker clips. They exist, but they're kind of expensive. There weren't any locally. And I wanted to hang my stockings immediately. So, what I decided to do was build a nice looking clamp to hold. Step 1, extremely important, remove all of your nice things from the hearth. Step 2, measure my length and width. I took slightly undersized dimensions just to give myself a little bit of wiggle room. Next step was to go out to the garage and find a piece of pre-COVID plywood. Nothing fancy, it's your basic 7-ply. I don't know if you can see. Yes, you can see it up there. There's even some voids. But I got this piece of plywood. It's nothing special. I cut it to size.
I told you this video really wasn't worth watching, but yeah, I cut it to size. Wouldn't it be more fun to see the table saw? Yes. Was I taking a video at the time? No. Am I doing this to try to make a video in an evening just to see kind of what I can do and just break through and just do something? Yes.
What I decided for my board is because plywood is a little ugly, you can see all these exposed plies, fine for shop furniture, not so much for the front room of your house. I was kind of lazy. I didn't cover up these sides, even though I can see them a little bit on each side. I think that's fine. But on the front, I took some edge banding, also spare from another project. It happened to match. It's probably not the same type of wood, but that's fine. And I've got a little bit of a mess right here. Whatever. So from the edge here, took edge banding. It's really easy to apply. You just cut it to a little bit longer than you need, line it up, smack it on with a clothes iron. Just not your good one if you use a clothes iron, like no one I know. But I've got one just in my shop. So stick that on, hot, heat that up, follow it with another just sacrificial board, like a chunk of 2x4 or something, to press it down and make your way down the entire board. And then, if you're not a complete mess, you've got a nice knife or something you can cut off the edge with. I couldn't find any of my hobby knives, so I just used sandpaper and sanded this down. It's not perfect, but frankly, I can't see the plies. It's good enough. Step 1, cut out a piece of wood that will fit up here nicely. But it's not time to install it yet. What I decided to do to make things look slightly professional was go out to my drill press, measured in a few inches, and put some symmetrical holes in. These on this end, on the other end, and then I measured in as well towards the center of the board, so I've got a total of 8 holes. I went to the Drill press put these 8 holes in my board, came back inside, got a clamp, and installed my board where I wanted it. So because I don't like measuring, and measuring multiple times is going to compound your errors, if I'm slightly off the board and measure slightly in over here, that's a problem. But instead of just taking some screws and drilling up and screwing this on, which technically would work, but eventually I would have some very jagged, unusable holes in that, I decided to use some hardware that I can use year after year as long as I'm in this house, and it'll never strip. Threaded inserts. So, what we have here, this kind of looks like a screw, but it isn't. It's got a hole, and inside that hole is more threading. Gives a nice metal spot for my bolt to thread into. So, I can put this bolt through my clamp and into some threads in the heart, and they'll never wear out because they're metal. That plus a washer multiplied by 8 gives me 8 contact points to go through 8 holes in my board to hold it up and hold all of the heavy stockings above my fireplace. Because measuring is bad, as in it's very easy to make mistakes, I didn't want to measure the heart itself. I clamped my board, I have 8 holes in it. I don't have the right prop, let's pretend this is a hammer. Don't use your drills as a hammer. Took every hole, and I just hammered in my bolts. It left very clear marks on the wood where I would need to drill later to install my threaded inserts. Remove my board. At this point, it was time to install my threaded inserts. So each insert has to go into a hole larger than the center diameter, but with not too large so that I would still have plenty of wood to grip onto with these teeth. Through some trial and error, in my case, a 3/8 drill bit was right. So take in my case, 3/8 inch drill bit. I don't want to just punch all the way through my mantle. So what I did was I looked at how deep this was, decided my depth of a hole should be slightly deeper, took some masking tape, made myself a visual reference on my drill bit. I drill up, 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 and stop when my masking tape reaches the bottom of the wood. Pretty simple. And I lined it up as perfectly as I could to each mark, as centered as I could, and drilled in 8 holes. At this point, I needed an Allen wrench of the right size because the threaded inserts have Allen key matching spot right here. So I can use this to drive this into a hole. In my case, I put a little bit of wood glue on these. You should probably look this up instead of watching a YouTube video. But again, just found each hole and twisted in my threaded inserts. This left me with 8 mounting holes. At this point, I thought I was done, but I wasn't. When I put my board up, put one screw on one side, lined it up, my tolerances were slightly off. This side, I could not fit in my bolts. So I thought the easy thing to do there was just to take a larger drill bit and remount each of these holes. Unfortunately, on the nice showing side on the bottom, I've got some rip out here from that process because I was trying to do this too quickly. Take your time. The rest of them look fairly decent. And most of this is under washers, so you can't actually see it as an issue. My dog wants his dinner. It's not time for my dog's dinner. Is it dinner time, dog? No. It's not dinner time yet. So one more time, I removed this, and just drilled those out, put it back up, and it was good. All there is left to do is install it. Yeah. So now, my board. Now, I have a clamp that can hold as many of these as I want above my fireplace. And in the end, I really prefer this over my old style where this just held it above, because they sometimes slay off. You can have other styles for this sort of hearth, where it's essentially a paperweight holding Christmas stocking. Now, one thing that goes along with Christmas stockings is children. Children can sometimes be dumb and grab things and pull them. And if a child grabs and pulls with a weighted stocking holder, that can come tumbling right down on their little heads. Now, they can pull and they will break the stocking. So there you go. My stockings are empty, but they're hung above the fireplace. And I'm extremely happy with it. I think you can do something like this as well. I'll probably take this off this weekend to throw some sort of a polyurethane or some sort of finish on it. Or let's be real, I'll take this down after Christmas and leave that on because no one's really going to be touching this. I guess that's it.